Guys, we're going to get started here. Again, before you ask your question, if you can introduce yourself with your name and affiliation, and then we'll try to do our best to take questions in the order in which you raise your hand and get through as many as we can. So with that, Casey Johnson, NBC Sports Chicago.
Well, you just introduced me, but I am Casey Johnson from NBC Sports Chicago. Josh, welcome to Chicago. Sam Presti offered pretty specific detail in his statement announcing the trade, saying that he held some conversations with you about a reserve role that you didn't show much interest in and professionally conveyed your desire to maybe seek opportunities elsewhere. That leads to the obvious follow-up question, which is, in your initial dealings with the Bulls, have you been given any indications or assurances that you'll be the starting point guard next season?
Yeah, I mean, in regards to Sam's comments, I mean, it's pretty accurate. We spoke a lot throughout the offseason and even in our exit interviews. And I've had a great relationship with Sam throughout my entire time in Oklahoma. And the one thing about him that I really respect is his transparency, and he's very open and honest with players, and especially with me throughout this whole process. And obviously, I came off a tough year. My role shifted a little bit. I was playing a lot more, off ball and kind of in a different role to what I've ever done in my career. So there was no secrets that it was going to take some kind of flexibility on my part to fit in with the team that we had and the structure that we had and the type of players that we had. So and he spoke to me about looking at potentially different roles, coming off the bench, running the second unit, things like that. And I just said to him, like, at this point in my career, I'm 21 years old. It wasn't something that I was overly eager to do. And he completely understood. And just throughout the whole process, we were open and honest with each other. And I said to him, look, coming off the bench at this point in my career, it's not something I'm trying to do and take a reserve role. But he got it. We worked together through the whole process, and he got me to a great spot. I'm very, very excited to be here in Chicago, and all first impressions have been unbelievable. The people have been great, and I feel very welcomed here.
So just quickly following up, Josh, have the Bulls given you any indications or assurances you'll be the starting point guard next season?
No, I mean, we haven't spoke about roles and things like that as of yet. I've had a lot of, I've met with Billy a bunch of times already. He's been unbelievable in the conversations we've had. But I understand that the team that's here, there's a lot of good guards. Io, Kobe, Dalen, they got a lot of guys that can handle the rock. So I think it'll make for, the competition that we'll have throughout training camp and things like that to push each other, be better, is going to be great. And, we'll see what happens, when the season rolls around.
Thank you.
Joe?
Josh, how you doing? Joe Colley from the Chicago Sun-Times.
I'm good, man. Nice to meet you.
Real quick, not to have you play general manager your first day talking to us, but have there been any indication of, you're the first piece of these changes that they've talked about? I mean, obviously they got the draft tomorrow, and so there could be a piece added there, but did you ask, is this like the personnel, or is this the group we're working with? Who am I competing against? I mean, obviously Lonzo Ball is still kind of out there, and we don't know his future. I mean, have you asked those kind of questions, or have you been told, hey, we are changing this thing, stay patient?
No, I haven't asked. I've just, kind of focused on, getting here, getting acclimated to the new surroundings. But no, I haven't asked. I understand the draft's in a couple of nights, so they'll get players through that. But in terms of what direction the franchise is going, I haven't asked any questions. I've just kind of bought into whatever happens here happens, and I'll try to play my part in helping our team be as good as we can be right from the jump.
And then one more thing off of what you said. You talked about it last year. It was a tough year for you. I mean, the obvious question is going to be, was all the stuff that happened off the court, did that carry on the court? Do you think that kind of played into it, or was it more of a personnel change where the Thunder were going and your fit was just different than it had been the previous 2 years? Yeah,
look, I think there's a lot of things that go into an NBA season. There's a lot of distractions, whether it's outside noise, whether it's internal change. And I think for me, a lot of it came internally. A lot of it came more with how good our team got and how much we evolved as a group. And my role kind of, I don't want to say diminished, but it kind of was different to the first 2 years I had. So It was a big adjustment for me, learning to play off the ball. Obviously got guarded a lot differently just with the lineup that we had. And obviously, with guys like Chet coming in, it forced their centers to make adjustments. So a lot of it was, basketball related, for me at least. That's the way I felt. But as I said, it was more a credit to our team than anything. We just got good quickly, and those kind of things happen. And my role changed a little bit, and it was just a year of adjusting and learning different things.
Thanks, bro.
Mike?
Hey Josh, Mike McGraw from the Daily Herald. We've all kind of known you as a guy who fills up the box score, does a lot of different things. What do you think you can do to best help a team, an NBA team win?
Yeah, I think the player I am, my job is just to make the game easy for everybody else. That's kind of what I want to do, and come in and make sure guys getting easy looks, guys feel confident on the floor. I feel when you, as a point guard, when you can get other people around you going and making them involved in the game, getting them feeling good early, it opens the game up for everybody. So that's kind of how I see myself, just making basketball and the game simple for everybody else and making it easy for my teammates around me.
Cody?
Hey Josh, Cody Western on 670, The Score Sports Radio. You'll be contract extension eligible before the regular season starts. How are you viewing that? Is it a priority to get an extension before the new season starts, or are you leaning toward handling that business in summer 2025?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, coming off my season in Oklahoma, that was kind of the thought process. It was all extension, and then when a trade happens, that kind of flips my mindset to a different thing. So, in regards to the extension, I haven't thought about it a lot over the last week, however long it's been, week or so. But I'm sure that those conversations will happen with my agent, the front office here, and those sorts of things. So. But it's not the be all end all for me. If it happens, it happens. If not, either way is fine. But as I said, those conversations will happen, and I'll let them play out as they do.
Julia?
Josh, Julia Coates, Chicago Tribune. Welcome to Chicago. You mentioned that last year was a bit of an adjustment year for yourself. What do you feel like you learned about yourself as a player, and kind of what were your main priorities in terms of growth for this offseason?
Yeah, in terms of how I saw my season. I mean, it was different. It was a lot of off-ball stuff. It was screening. It was playing in the dunker, being ready to catch and shoot. So there was a lot of different things. And as I said earlier, I think it wasn't a negative look on me. It was more so our team got so good, and there was multiple players that could handle the ball and do different things. So I had to adjust. I had to learn different things, and I think it did. And while you're in the midst of it, it's hard to see the light. But looking back at it now, it probably taught me a lot of lessons that I needed for a young player in their career, and how to adapt to different environments. And I thought, as I said, when you're going through it during the season, it feels like it's such a struggle and a grind. But when you reflect on it, weeks and months after the season's done, there's a lot of good things to take away from it. And as I said, I'm very grateful for my time there. I met a lot of great people, learned a lot of valuable lessons on the floor, and I think some of them are definitely going to translate to this team.
Darnell?
Thanks, Beth. What's up, Josh? Darnell Mayberry with The Athletic and Money Talks. I have two questions for you, actually. One about you and one about OKC and the Thunder. The first is about you and your game. When Presti released that statement, he had high praise saying that you had AllStar potential. What do you feel like you need to do to tap into that and get to that level?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I thank Sam for those comments. He's as I said, I speak very highly of him. Great person. But in regards to that, I think it was going to be hard to tap into my full potential, in my opinion, in a team like that, where there was just so many talented guys who needed the ball in their hands, who were great with the ball in their hands, and a change of scenery was probably going to maybe unlock more of that for me. But I think, as I said, just being able to make the game easy for everybody, being able to get guys involved, distribute the ball, and get other players confident around me is kind of the thing I pride myself on doing. And it's hard to do that in a role where the ball's not in your hands a lot, and you're screening, you're doing different things. So, for me, as I said, that's probably the big thing coming in here. I want to, be the pass first point guard that I am, and help teammates, generate easy looks and get them feeling good right from the get-go.
And then the second question I have is, you said OKC down there, you guys got good quickly, I think is how you said it. What is it about that franchise and the culture that has been created down there that created such a winning environment and continues to do it, seemingly year after year. What is it about that, and what do you feel like you can bring to Chicago from that?
Yeah, I think Sam and Mark they draft people first, and that's one of the best things about the organization is the people from top to bottom are just unbelievable, and my teammates were great, coaches, front office, and everybody in between. It was just a very fun place to come into work every day, and having a bunch of great people together, unselfish, team first kind of guys leads to winning. And obviously, my first year there, we weren't great. Second year, we got a little better. And last year, we were the number one seed. So things evolved pretty quickly there. We had a very talented group. Obviously, they drafted really well, brought in great pieces. But, there was a lot of things to contribute to that. But just from top to bottom, a class organization, and couldn't speak more highly of them.
Thanks, Josh.
We'll get a couple more. Will?
Hey Josh, Will Gottlieb, CHGO Sports. I'm just curious if you can talk a little bit about your experience in the playoffs and just the way that ended with your role kind of diminishing a little bit. And since then, have you done any reflecting about some of the stuff that you can continue to grow and work on in your game as you transition to the Bulls?
Yeah, it was tough because, as a player, you first you want to get to the NBA, and then when you're in the NBA, you want to be a part of big games in the playoffs. And that, I've dreamt of that moment for so long, and for it to end the way it did, kind of left a sour taste in my mouth for a long time. And it's tough to go into the summer as your last, stint in the NBA for that season. And it just showed me that there's so many things I have to work on to be able to be valuable in those moments. And as I said earlier, these are the lessons that, I'd rather learn now as a young kid in my career, opposed to when I'm later in my career and it's the first time I'm experienced playoff action and I don't know what to expect. And, it was probably a blessing in disguise for me. It really taught me what I need to work on, how I need to get better. And obviously shooting's a big one, but also the defensive end is something that I think just coming into this offseason, a switch just flipped in my mind. And I just realized that to be at the highest level, you've got to really compete at that end. You've got to be able to sit down, guard guys, and that's the side of the ball that I really want to take pride in. I think the offense will come naturally, but it's that side of the ball that I really want to take steps forward in to make sure when playoff time comes around that I'm ready to go both sides of the ball and not just one.
Jamal?
Hey Josh, Jamal Collier here from ESPN. Welcome to Chicago. I'm curious about your conversations. You mentioned with Billy and maybe even Arturas and just some of the guys that are getting there. You said you seem eager to get back to some of your strengths, some of the things you have been doing in the past few years. I'm curious, just like when they explain their vision for you as the point guard of this team and the reason they trade for you, just kind of did those visions align? And what things got you excited about sort of their, willing to go out and acquire you and put you in a position, I guess, that you would want to succeed?
The conversation's been great, obviously. I spoke with them all when the trade first happened. I was in Australia and then came here on Sunday and met everybody, Billy, Arturas, Mark, and the coaching staff. And the conversation's been great, just in terms of the guys that they already have here, how my strengths can help the team going forward and things like that. But in terms of specific roles and what the future's going to look like, we haven't spoke a whole lot about. I've kind of just wanted to adjust naturally and let it come as it does. But yeah, as I said, everyone's been great. I've spoke a lot with Billy, Arturas, Mark, and all the conversations from this point have been really exciting, and it gets me excited to be here and get into the season.
Sam Smith?
Sam Smith with Bulls.com. I wanted to follow up on that briefly. Did Billy Donovan, have you talked to Billy at all about the style of play that you think the team wants to play? He wants the team to play vis-a-vis, your involvement.
No, I haven't. We haven't spoke style a lot. The first couple of days was just getting to know each other. This is the first time I met a lot of the people here in the organization. So style of play, roles, and all those things, we haven't really discussed much. A lot of the first few interactions have just been getting to know each other on a personal level. So, but those times will come. We'll speak a lot over the phone over the next, month, 6 weeks while I'm with the national team. But just learning the style of play early is something I want to do. Understanding the offense and what they run. whether that's through watching games. I'm going to watch a lot of their games from the last couple seasons and see what they do, how they defend as a team, the offense that they run. So getting an idea for that early before training camp, before all the guys get back here, is going to be important, especially for a guy, for a point guard. You've got to learn the offense and you've got to know what's happening out on the floor. And I think if I can get a head start on that before I get back here in September, that's going to really help me and help the team.
We're going to take 2 more. Casey?
Well, I have to, but I'll be brief. Hey, Josh, I got one off the court, one on the court. As far as off the court, obviously it's pretty well documented that you had an off the court issue last season that was investigated by both Newport Beach Police and the NBA. They both closed their investigations with no further action. I know you probably can't speak about specifics from a legal perspective, but just from a personal perspective, how trying was that for you, and what did you kind of take from that experience that maybe you can move forward with your career?
Yeah, completely understand the question, and I know you've got to ask. It's part of your job, but I'm not going to comment on anything regarding that situation.
Okay, then I'll move down on the court. We've talked a little bit about the Bulls and kind of how it pertains to you, but what's kind of your perception of the Bulls having played against them the last few seasons, particularly some of the personnel on the roster, like Kobe White, Zach LaVine? I mean, DeMar's future's uncertain. I mean, you can take it wherever you want. Kind of your impressions of the personnel on the roster. Yeah,
great team. I mean, very talented team. Kind of, top to bottom. And they got a lot of guys that can, obviously Zach DeMar, Kobe was awesome, really emerged last year. Pat Williams. So they got a lot of, and then the young guys, Dalen, sorry. They got a lot of talent on this team. And as I said, I'm looking forward to just coming, trying to immerse myself in it, and not take away from anybody, but just help this team continue to grow and get better. But yeah, the impressions, we only play them obviously twice a year, being a Western Conference team, but very competitive team. And one of my favorite things I'm most excited about was playing in United Center in front of the fans. Every time I've been to Chicago to play here, the fans have been unbelievable. It's a packed house every time, regardless of what day of the week it is. So the fans, and I know they're passionate. This club's obviously got a lot of history, but that's one of the things I'm most excited for, is getting to United Center and playing in front of these great fans.
All right, looks like that's all we got. Thank you guys for your time. We'll see you guys tomorrow on draft night.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Fucking killer.